Hi friends, good morning. Welcome back to today's session. So far we have discussed about the term demand, the types of demand and demand function. Today we are going to discuss about the most important law, that is law of demand. You can write law of demand. The law of demand states that other things remaining equal, the quantity demanded of a commodity increases when price falls, and quantity demanded of a commodity decreases when price increases. So this is what the law of demand. Law of demand shows a functional relationship between price and quantity demanded of a commodity. In the law of demand, we have seen, or you need to notice a particular term, that is other things remain same. Other things remaining same, what we mean by that? Just before that, for the proper function of a law, every law has its own assumptions. What are assumptions? Assumptions are the fact which are true, which can be easily proved but not yet to be proved. So without assumption, no law can work. So the law of demand can function with its assumptions. What is law of demand? I repeat, the law of demand states that other things remain equal. Other things remaining equal, the quantity demanded of a commodity increases when the price falls, and the quantity demanded of a commodity decreases when the price rises. Other things remaining equal, the term, economic term is used for that is ceteris paribus. We say the term ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, we mean other things other than price, the other factors, those factors are remain same. Only price can change. The quantity of one commodity is demanded by an individual by its price. An individual can easily demand one commodity. When the price of a commodity increases, quantity demanded of that commodity will be less. So this is what the law states. And the assumptions are, some of the assumptions are, there should be no change in the income of the consumers. There should be no change in the income of the consumer. What does it mean? The consumer's income should not change. If a consumer's income change, then that definitely affect the demand of a commodity. Because the last class I have told you, when my income level is more, I can demand more and more quantity. So that should not happen. Then the size of population should not change. The size of population should not change. Another assumptions. Population size, the number of people should not be increased, because when people number increases, the demand of a commodity can also be increased. And one more assumptions we can discuss, that the distribution of income should not change. Should not change. Why? Because if the distribution of income changes, then definitely that changes in income of a person can influence the demand of one commodity. So following these assumptions, what are some of the assumptions? There should not be no change in the income of the consumer. The size of population should not change. The distribution of income should not change. And also we can say the price of related commodities should remain unchanged. So these are called ceteris paribus. other than price. Only price can vary, but other than the price, other factors what affect the demand must not change. Then only the law can functions. The law of demand can be explained or illustrated with the help of a demand schedule and a demand curve, which means if the law of demand is expressed or illustrated with the help of a number, if it is explained numerically, okay, with the help of demand schedule, and if the theory is can be explained with the help of a graphical representation of the demand schedule. So we can explain or illustrate the law of demand through a demand schedule and a demand curve. And one is numerical expression and another one is graphical representation. Now if we go that the demand schedule. What is a demand schedule? The law of demand can be illustrated with the help of a demand schedule and a demand curve. So we can say what is demand schedule? Demand schedule. What is mean by demand schedule? Demand schedule is a tabular statement. It's a tabular statement that shows various different quantities of commodity. Different quantities of commodity that would be demanded at different prices. It's a tabular form. It's a statement where one of the individuals, okay, is purchased what different types of commodities at different prices. So that is shown in a particular schedule, a tabular representation. So that can be said as demand schedule. For example, if I make a demand schedule of one commodity, okay, we can make like a tabular representation. Like we will write here the price of a commodity, price, and another column we will write quantity demanded. So we can make a hypothetical demand schedule. Suppose the prices are 10, 8, 6. These are the three different prices and we should purchase the quantity at the different prices. That by rupees 10 I have purchased 5 units of one commodity, and rupees 8 I have purchased 10 units of commodity, and rupees 6 I have purchased 15 units of commodity. So this is demand schedule. Law of demand explained with the help of a demand schedule. Numerically we can explain. So this demand schedule, what does it show? I have told you the law of demand shows a functional relationship between quantity of commodity demanded by various prices. Look at the table. We have three prices: 10, 8, 6. And various quantities demanded, okay, by when price is high, when price is 10, quantity demanded is 5. When price is 8, means when there is a changes, falls in price of the commodity, the quantity demanded is increases. So there is an inverse relationship you can see in the schedule. When prices decreases, quantity demanded increases. So that is what the law of demand. So this is law of demand, and this law of demand explained with the help of a schedule. Is that clear? Are you getting me? Yes. And this is what is demand schedule. Now demand schedule is of two types. Demand schedule is of two types. Two types of demand schedule we have. What is that? One is individual demand schedule. Individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. Market demand schedule. One is individual demand schedule, another one is market demand schedule. These are the two types of demand schedule. Now we will come to the first one, individual demand schedule. What is mean by individual demand schedule? Individual demand schedule is somewhat similar to the demand schedule. We can say demand schedule is individual demand schedule. So individual demand schedule is the same way we can define, but it is a table or it's a tabular representation of various quantities of commodities demanded by various prices. This is what is individual demand curve. Whereas market demand schedule, market demand. What is market? Where there are large number of buyers and sellers. So in a market, there are many buyers, many buyers. So when all these buyers purchase a quantity at different rates by different quantity amount. So such a way, in this way, if we create some other, okay, like I am making this demand schedule, which is known as individual demand schedule, into a market demand schedule. So we can make, this is the quantity demanded of suppose individual A. This is individual A, and in a market there are many individuals. So here, for example, to explain that market demand schedule, I am taking individual A, individual B, and individual C. A, B, C are the individuals. So they are going to purchase various quantities of that particular commodity by various prices. What are the prices here? 10, 8, 6. Individual A purchased this level. Whereas we can write individual B can purchase like at 10 rupees, individual B is purchased 6 units. Okay, when price is less, it is increased 8 units. Again at the price 6, individual B purchased 10 units of commodity. This is another schedule of P. Whereas individual C also purchase a commodity by these prices. It can be 4, okay, 6 and 8. So this is a tabular statement of market demand schedule. Now total in a market, how much quantity is demanded by these individuals? Who's in A, B, C individuals? So we can write A plus B plus C, total demand. What is total demand? 5 plus 6 plus 4, 15, then 10 plus 8 plus 6, 24, then 15 plus 10, 25 plus 8, 33. So 33, this is the total market demand, 15, 24, 33. Individual demand is 5. Quantity demanded by individual A, 5, 10, 15. So if we take only this part, that is individual demand schedule. If we take all this ABC, it is known as market demand schedule. Got it? Yeah. So law of demand, assumptions, it can be explained with the help of demand schedule. Demand schedules are two types: individual demand schedule, market demand schedule. Now we come to the another topic, that is demand curve. You keep in mind that demand schedule is a convenient way to illustrate the law of demand. You can easily explain this schedule when the question is completed. Understand? Now we can also explain or illustrate the same law with the help of a graph. Now in that way we can say that demand curve. Okay, let me write it. What is mean by demand curve? What is demand curve? The graphical representation of the demand schedule is known as demand curve. You can write that. What is demand curve? Graphical representation of the demand schedule. That is known as demand curve. So when we or else we can say the picturization of the demand schedule. The picturization of the demand schedule. Okay, that is known as demand curve. So if we make that one demand schedule into demand curve, let us see how can we. As I told you, we can make an individual demand curve of price, Okay, then quantity demanded. Okay, make a hypothetical schedule, your own table you make. This is my table, so you write your own table, imaginary. So the prices is 10, 8, 6, and the quantity is 6, 8, 10. Okay, this is a individual demand schedule. Now I am going to make the demand curve. How can we derive the demand curve from the help of demand schedule? Okay, another way of explaining the law of demand. Now, as I told you that last class we have seen a small diagram. Okay, that shows the relationship between demand and price. So here also we are going to draw the next diagram of the demand curve in relation with this demand schedule. So we will draw at first x and y axis. So all of you must draw x or y axis and or x axis. Now we should mention what does OX axis denotes and OY. OY we can make prices. So prices I am writing P for prices. Then what are the prices? 10, 8, 6. 3 prices. So 10, 8, then 6. These are the 3 prices. And quantity demanded. So x axis you have to write quantity demanded. Now quantity demanded, let us see that. Okay, it is said that 6, 8 and 10. Now look, by rupees 10, the quantity demanded of a commodity is 6. So we can write that here on a particular point, and from there you make a rectangular shape. Okay, so this one into mark you keep it, the intersection point. Then therefore, so that if we make this rectangles, we will get like this. And we make an into mark all these points. Now curve is not yet ready. Now we should take all these points, make it connect it, and you can make a straight. You can use a straight line to connect all the things, and you will write a D. That means demand curve. Now see, the diagram is ready. So this is the diagram. This is the demand curve of this demand schedule. Graphical representation of this demand schedule. You see that at price 10, quantity demand of a commodity is 6. Okay, then at price 8, quantity demand also 8. Similarly, we have got the demand curve. Demand curve can be linear and non-linear. It can be straight line and also not straight. Both way we can mention. Okay, is that clear? So law of demand can explain with the help of demand schedule, demand curve. Demand schedule we have studied, demand curve, schedule and demand curve. Now similarly, demand curve also two types. Individual demand curve and market demand curve. So in that cases, individual demand curve. What is mean by individual demand curve? Individual demand curve is this. This is individual demand curve. Why? Because this is made with the help of individual demand curve. So we can say that two types of demand curve, and number one is individual demand curve and another one is market demand curve. Two types here also. Individual demand curve. So individual demand curve is what? Individual demand curve for a good, it is said that the curve that shows different quantities of a commodity demanded by various prices. Different quantities of a commodities demanded by various prices. Similarly, market demand curve is also shows various different levels of quantity demanded by various prices. This is what is market demand curve. Market demand curve, in order to explain the law of demand, we also need to study about the market demand schedule. Market demand schedule, we know how to make. We are very familiar with how to make the demand schedule. Similarly, you can also make market demand schedule. Based on market demand schedule, based on that, like the quantity demanded of A individual, quantity demanded of B individual, and quantity demand of C. Therefore, in finally we have noted there A plus B plus C, the total demanded. Similarly, we can make a we can derive what market demand curve related to those market demand schedule. And finally, in that cases, if we make we will get a wider demand curve than the individual demand curve. And that is the only difference when you see individual demand curve and market demand curve. If this is the individual demand curve, okay, look at the board. Okay, we have drawn the individual demand curve, prices 10, 8, 6 and 6, 8, 10. This is the demand curve we have studied. Similarly, this is of demand curve of A. Now, demand curve of B you have to make. Similarly, you can also make another diagram based on that demand schedule. Another demand schedule previously we made. So based on that you have to make. So the same prices you can write here, but the quantity demanded is vary. So based on this is B. Now we have to find out the market demand curve. Market demand curve we get a wider demand curve because A plus B plus C or A plus B. This is A plus B. So A plus B means 6 plus, suppose 5, 6, 7. 6 plus 5. 6 plus 5, 11. So first quantity we will get 11. This is 11 of 10. And second we will get 8 plus 6 means 14. Okay. Then 7 plus 10, 17. So this is the market demand curve of a market demand schedule. Okay. Okay, have a look at. Is that clear? Okay. So what is this? This is the way that market demand curve can derive. How can we derive or derivation of the market demand curve with the help of with the help of individual demand schedule. Hypothetical individual demand schedule you can make and you can create, you can derive the market demand curve from that. Got it? Yes. So law of demand we have studied. What is law of demand? Law of demand is law of demand, assumptions, demand schedule, demand curve. Now we need to explain the diagram. So I am just drawing one more demand curve and you will see the explanation part. You can also draw with me. Okay, simply one same way. Full labeled diagram. Okay. Now we have seen that a demand curve. This is the demand curve. Now we will discuss what are the reasons, okay, for the downward slope of demand curve. Demand curve is you will see a negative sloping demand curve. Okay, there is a downward sloping demand curve from left side to right side. Left to right. Left to right. So why does the demand curve slope left to right? Why? What are the reasons for that? Okay, so the law of demand can be explained with these reasons, means the causes Why does the demand curve slopes left to right, or why does the demand curve is negative sloping? Why does it is negative sloping? The first important reason for that, okay, it is said that law of diminishing marginal utility. You can note it down. Law of diminishing. Law of diminishing. I have written short form. Okay, diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility. What is mean by law of diminishing marginal utility, and how does law of diminishing marginal utility considered as a reason for the negative slope of the demand curve? So that is what we are going to discuss. The first reason behind the negative slope of demand curve. Okay, law of diminishing marginal utility. What is utility? The satisfaction power of the commodity is known as utility. When a consumer consumes some commodity, okay, continuously, he or she gets satisfaction from that, and that satisfaction is economically called utility. So utility is hypothetical in nature. What is hypothetical in nature? I cannot express, I can only feel my utility, whereas I am unable to express my utility. Suppose I have used one item. For example, I used this small chalk pieces. Okay, and when I use this chalk piece, I have received some satisfaction, and that satisfaction is my utility. Then what is law of diminishing marginal utility? Diminishing utility diminishes. Okay, the individual, okay, which means that the marginal utility of a commodity diminishes the more and more units of commodity consumed. Okay, when a consumer consumes more and more quantity of one commodity, the utility derived, the satisfaction derived from the use of that commodity falls, diminishes. That is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. So in economically we can say that the marginal utility of one commodity is the price of that commodity. If somebody asks what is your utility, what have you received, what is your satisfaction after watching a movie, okay, a good film, what is your satisfaction, then in that cases we can say my utility is equal to the price which I spent to get the ticket. The movie ticket I have purchased, that price is my utility. So utility is what? The price of that commodity. So I can easily say that my utility is equal to the price, the cost of that ticket. So we can say the consumer, okay, the consumer can maximize his utility only in one condition, no other condition. Only in one condition, in which he or she can maximize the satisfaction at the price which is equal to his utility. Therefore, symbolically we can write marginal utility of X commodity is equal to price of X. So this is that condition what I told just now. Law of diminishing marginal utility states that what? The marginal utility, what is marginal utility? The additional utility created when number of units are consumed, that utility must diminishes. This is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. Because of that, what is happening? Demand curve falls negatively, or demand curve falls from left to right because of this one reason. There are so many reasons. This is one of the reasons. And when can a consumer be maximizes his satisfaction? By this condition. What is A mu X is equal to P of X. Which X means X commodity. Price of X commodity. Clear? Then another thing is that second reason for negative slope of demand curve is income income effect. You can write income effect. Income effect. What is income effect? What's the role of income? Okay, in law of demand. So we have studied, last class we have studied a change in demand, okay, on account of change in real income can cause the negative slope of demand curve. Which means how can we make somebody's real income changes? What is real income? You have to study the term real income. Real income. What is real income? The real income is this. I will explain. Changes in price. Changes in price, it must be fall. When price falls, then the real income of the consumer increases. When real income increases, the consumer can purchase more quantity of the commodity. Are you getting me? Okay, I will simplify. For example, I have 100 rupees. Okay, I have 100 rupees with me and I need to purchase 2 kilos of apple. Okay, I went to the market and I got the price per kilo apple cost is 50 rupees. Rupees 50. I need to purchase 2 kilos of apple. And what is my income? My income is 100 rupees. How much kilos of apple I can purchase? 2 kilos. And my income over. Means 50 plus 50 is equal to 100. I have got 2 kilos of apple and my income is over. Here I don't have any real income. So what is real income? Decrease in price of the commodity. A falls in the price of the commodity. If the price of apple falls from rupees 50 to 40, rupees 50 to 40, I need 2 kilos of apple. Now I can purchase 2 kilos of apple, 40 plus 40 by 80 rupees. 2 kilo. I am satisfied. And how much money is left? 20 rupees is left. This 20 rupee is my real income. You got it? So this 20 rupees, because I can utilize to purchase some additional quantity of the same. Because I need 2 kilos, I purchase 2 kilo. When a price decreases, my real income increased, so that I use the same money for purchasing some additional quantities of commodity. Thus, we could say that a fall in price of a commodity causes increase in real income. A fall from 50 to 40 causes increase in real income that may increase the quantity demanded of the commodity. Therefore, demand curve slopes negative. Clear? Okay. Then the third point. Okay, you can write that substitution effect. Okay, let me write this. You can note it down. Substitution effect. Third reasons. Substitution effect. What are called substitution effect? What are called substitution effect? Substitution effect we have studied in the case of tea and coffee. Tea and coffee are the examples of substitute goods. So substitute goods, how does that changes in the demand? I have told you yesterday, same thing I can repeat. Tea and coffee. Tea and coffee are considered substitute goods. Now, an increase in price of tea can cause an increase in the demand of coffee, whereas a falls in the demand of tea when price of tea increases. Here one condition, a nominal situation we can see. Normal consumer can always is ready to change his consumption pattern from inferior to superior. Also costlier to cheaper. So in this substitution cases, tea and coffee, when price of tea increases, consumer can change his consumption to coffee from tea, because coffee is cheaper and tea is costlier. Got it? So an increase in demand on account of commodity becoming relatively cheaper is known as substitution effect. So that is what a substitution effect. Clear? Then the fourth point we can say increase in number of consumers. We can write increase in number of consumers. Right. Another reason for negative slope of demand curve. Increase in number of consumers. What is increase in number of consumers? Suppose in an economy there are many consumers. It's not suppose, it's a genuine fact that many people are there. We all are considered as consumers. We need to purchase commodities by various prices according to my level of income. If I am a rich man, I could purchase many things. Right? Or if I'm a poor, I just get only the instance, okay, for the existence of life. Okay, therefore we can say when the price of commodity falls, the quantity demanded of that commodity is more. Okay, so for example, during now summer season, suppose the cost of AC is too high, then that can be afforded by only the rich people. If suppose the price of AC diminishes in future, then the moderate level, moderate means the medium income level, income group people can also afford those things. So the demand of such a commodity will increase. This is the reason demand curves are downward. So keep in mind that increase in number of consumer is also considered as one of the other causes for negative slope of demand curve. Okay, and the last one we will see several use of commodities. Several use of commodities. Several uses of commodities. Several uses of commodities. What is mean by several uses of a commodity? If a commodity can be utilized for many purposes to getting satisfaction, so it is considered several use of commodity. For example, in the case of electricity, a good example we can say, electricity charge, if the electricity charge per unit, if it is very cheap, then electricity can be utilized for many purposes. We have no control at all. We utilize and we waste electricity, simply switch on the ACs and all during the summer or the winter heater and all. If suppose the price of electricity increases per unit, the common behavior of people that they may easily control the use of this electricity by in a limited, which means that we should use only what is required the most, only for that purposes, not the whole day, not the 24 hours. If light is required, only we switch on, because that affects the price. So that we can say several use of commodity. In that cases, electricity could be used only the necessary things, not for all. Okay, then because the price is too high. So the demand for electricity may change when there is a change in price. That is why law of demand or the demand curve slopes negative from left to right. So we have seen 5 reasons why does the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. 5 reasons we have studied. Okay, law of diminishing marginal utility, income effect, substitution effect, increase in number of consumers, and several uses of commodity. So these are the 5 important reasons that the demand curve is negatively sloping. So if the question asks, okay, what are the reasons or why does the demand curve slope downward? You can write these reasons. Okay, each reason you will be explaining a bit. And with this, of these reasons, today's class we could stop. Just before stopping, we can wind up and we can just recollect the things what we studied today. We have studied the law of demand, assumptions, demand schedule. Demand schedule can be two types: individual demand schedule, market demand schedule, then demand curve. Demand curve also two types: individual demand curve, market demand curve. Then the reasons for the downward slope of demand curve. Then generally we could raise two questions: what is the relationship, or what is the shape of demand curve? It is positive, it is negatively sloped. It is negatively sloped. What does it mean? The negative slope of demand curve means the relationship between quantities of a commodities demanded by various prices. Because in the law of demand we have seen that law of demand states that other things remaining same, which means ceteris paribus, other than price, the rest factors can vary with price. Is that clear? So this is what today we discussed, and we will study the next class. We will study some of the exceptions of the law of demand. Okay, where some situation law of demand may not take places, and that situations we will discuss by tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.